Happy Hump Day, everyone. Hope you're all well out there. Good to see you all. That thumbs up button as we roll in. Let's get it started.
We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second, let me feel like this. Make me feel like this. Young blood made of gold. A mind you can't control. Running wild, can't come down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second, I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. Oh, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. And we don't care about the bad nights. For a second, I can feel like this. Make me feel like this.
Hello, everyone. Please hit that thumbs up button as you're rolling in. You gotta make sure your gifted memberships are turned on.
I'm on my last straw. I'm broken and I'm woken up. I'm done feeding your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause I'd start over now. Rewind, and I won't let you go. I need you by my side. I'm gone, so don't run from the truth. You're lost, now
Look at
I
that.
know you played
Thank you so
me
much
just like
for
a
updating your membership,
I
my dear.
still can't believe you had me on a leash, cutting all my teeth with all the lies you bring. 'Cause I'd start over now. Rewind, and I won't let you go. I need you by my side.
Is Michelle. Thank you for 4 months. So good to see you, my dear. So good to see all of you. Thank you so much.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. Ask me how we got here, 'cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries, let's flow for now. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. I drag you out your mind, and there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Today is August 21st, 2024, 6:24 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. It's so good to see you all, my sweet pearls. I've been out a little bit. Lots of I've been kind of under the weather um a little bit, and I think that kind of happens a lot of times whenever you your schedule changes. I don't know why. I guess you're. Oh, it's been so lonesome. Grace says, "I'm sorry, Grace." I don't know why that happens. I guess it's just stress on your immune system or whatever. I've been trying to get better. Schedule change, of course. Back to school, back to work more, my regular work, and yeah, just trying to get it all together. Marlena, I hope you feel better as well. You've been extra tired. I'm sorry, JD. So, just been taking a bunch of vitamin C and zinc. And the last few times I was on here, I actually, you know, uh, sometimes I don't look sick, but you have to remember I used to work at a funeral home and I used to make the dead look alive. So I know what I'm doing, honey. So, anyway, that's what I always say. Well, if I can make the dead look alive, I guess I could make me look alive too. So, anyway, yeah, yeah, it's princess. It's hard. It's hard. So, thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you all for the comments, the kind comments. Thank you, Mimi. Appreciate you. Good to see you. Hope you guys are well. Lots of germs in school. Yeah. Yeah. So just gotta know what you're doing, how to paint it, how to paint it. So anyway, I have heard I haven't really been keeping up with YouTube the last couple days, to be quite honest with you. Um, love you guys too. Yeah, Holly. Well, I have Lyme's, and when I get sick, like you can feel the limes, anytime you have like any uh autoimmune uh disorder, it kicks your butt whenever you're sick. Many times it's kind of worse on you. Yeah, Jen. Yeah, I understand. So, but yeah, I have heard it's been quite negative lately. You know, it's amazing to me how I don't understand why in true crime it's negative enough. It's already a negative situation. It just is. Um and I don't know. I guess people do it for the views, um for the not only for the content, but I always say the content of their hearts. And when it comes to the Sebastian Rogers case, I stand where I stand. Um, I absolutely do not believe that Seth Rogers has anything to do with it. That is where I stand. You are absolutely welcome to feel how you feel. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, people don't just disappear. They don't just disappear. And like I said, guys, I'm not a Tony fan, uh, but it would be ridiculous for us to walk up to a human being that has a child missing. That goes for Chris, that goes for Katie, and that goes for Seth, and say, you know, this person is giving you comfort and or helping you in some way that maybe we don't even know. I don't know. And say you need him out of your life. It's just wrong. Yes, and that's right. That's right. We do need more love in this world. It's negative enough. Um, it is the thing that, when it comes to these cases where there is nothing new being put out by police, authorities, anything, this is where rumors go rampant. Did you hear what CM said? When did CM, what did he say? When did he say this, Bushid? Um, because I probably think I know where Chris stands on this case. I mean, we can go over that for sure. CM is Chris McDonough from the Interview Room. One of the best in true crime out there, if you ask me. I think a lot of it is just people don't like Seth, or they just don't like whatever the bald guy's name is, Tony. Oh, running his son home and his whole world being flipped upside down. Yeah. Thank you, Sense of Soul. Did Bushi reply? I want to make sure I saw her comment. What did I think? I'm thinking not garbage truck lights. Oh, Michelle, that's not even debatable to me. It's not a garbage truck. I can tell you it's not a garbage truck. Guys, I have spoken with people in this neighborhood for a while, and I can tell you it's not a garbage truck. I don't give a wooden nickel what anybody else says about a dang garbage truck. There was a garbage truck that came, but it was several hours later. Bushi, was it with the last live that he did about Sebastian Rogers? It's not even camper lights, guys. Um there's people. There is people I don't even know why we're still debating this. There is people walking in the backyard. That, again, in the common area. It's not even debatable. There are human beings walking. A car pulls up, right? Then we see people walking in the backyard area. Was on panel with Court TV. Oh, hold on. I might have that pulled up. Let me see if, bear with me 1 second and I'll see if I can find it. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, I got it. Here we go. We'll pop it up.
To tell them, why is it that he hasn't been cleared? He did a polygraph test with a well-known FBI polygrapher that Nancy Grace set up, and he passed that with flying colors. So,
we're out of time.
I actually haven't saw it, but this is where we stopped the other day. Guys, I don't know. I don't know. We'll address that.
Time, unfortunately. Tony, I'm sorry I have to cut you off there. We're out of time, but thank you both for joining us. We'll still look for those answers. Year-old Sebastian. The circumstances surrounding this disappearance, though, really raise a lot of questions.
A lot of questions. Holly W., thank you so very much. I really appreciate you for gifting 5 pearl necklaces, my dear. Thank you so much. If you received one of those pearl necklaces, please give our beloved Holly a big, big thank you. She just added you to our strand of pearls. So thank you very much, Holly. Let's get on down.
This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The next stop is Fulton Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
The lesser fight. My body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
Thank you, my dear Holly, for gifting 5 pearl necklaces. If you received one of those pearl necklaces, please thank our beloved Holly. Guys, we all have the capacity to use our brains and to do deduction, is what we call deduction. And for anyone who is using their brain, at least enough, to think that Seth would take his kid on the night that he is working in a jail and doing something with them, clearly is not using it enough, in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. Seth was getting ready to get Sebastian. There is no motive for the man to take Sebastian. He was getting ready to get him. Number 2, when he did have him, all he had to do, if he did want to do something like this, is do the same thing that, in my opinion, CP and KP did while he was at his house. Oh my God, where is he? Come on.
That need to be answered. Here's more of his story. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers seemingly disappeared without a trace from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, where he was living with his mom and stepdad. His mom said he went to bed, and in the morning, he was nowhere to be found.
You have a man that has how many CPS cases there? Sebastian was sounding the alarm, people. Sounding the alarm. No one was listening. He was failed. You have a man that's a serial matrimonist. He's been married umpteen thousand times, right? Being silly there, but 5, 6, I don't know how many times at this point, right? You have a mother not looking for her child. Have you ever, people act differently. No. Have you ever seen a mother not look for her child? Right? You take a kitten, right? And take it away from its mother. What does that cat do? It's going to find you. It's going to find its kitten, right? It's going to find its kitten.
Investigators reportedly have no suspects, no leads, and no evidence of what happened to Sebastian. How?
Yes, Casey Anthony never looked for Kaylee. And let me tell you something. Let's say figure A did something to a child, right? And they hid the child and they pretend that they don't know what happened to the child, right? They say, oh, I can't find my child, right? But they actually know. Are they going to go out there and chase all over God's country to look for some? Are they going to waste their time, their energy? Let's say you put your keys to your car on your counter, right? No, you put them in your cabinet. We'll say you put them in your cabinet. And you know where they are. You know where they are. Are you going to go around your house looking for your keys, wasting your time, your energy at all when you know where they are? You're not going to waste that energy, that stress, that anxiety when you know where they are. You're just not.
How is that possible? Where is Sebastian? This is a case that's been very short on evidence, but an audio recording has been circulating online that sounds like it could be a radio transmission from a canine handler during the search for Sebastian. Now, the speaker on this audio references several places near Sebastian's home, like the construction site, the cemetery, and the retention pond. The link to this audio file was uploaded to Twitter by SF Investigates, but it's unclear where the recording came from originally.
Nice big track back up, going into the construction site over here, back towards the beach. The one behind you. It's awful muddy. Do you see any footprints, anything?
It amazes me that people is still even debating if this was Sebastian. There's nothing to suggest this child walked out the door. Nothing. Nothing. So where is he? Where is he? Enjoy life. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you for gifting that. Thank you, my love. Thank you for remaining true to Sebastian's faith and not being swayed. Listen, there is no one that is going to, I don't care if it's the popular thing. I don't care if it's the not popular thing. It's not ever going to change it's not going to change. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing. If we really want to find Sebastian, if we want to know real answers, which are very hard to find, then we have to do the hard thing, right? Not the easy thing, not the, oh, well, you know, this, worrying about some bald guy. If he put on a turtleneck, he'd look like a broken condom. We don't have to worry. Why are we worrying about this bald guy? Why are we? Why? I don't understand it. I don't care about him. He's the last thing I care about. Like, can we worry about Sebastian? Can we worry about, like, what happened to him? That's just...
You shouldn't have any shoes on. Hey, this is all dry, hard packed. Outside report. LT, we're now headed back south towards the cemetery on the far end of the construction site. Boy, I can see.
You're welcome, Rusty.
I do have some footprints over here. Right there where you're standing? Yeah.
The bald guy is Tony.
Leading right over here to the retaining pond. No shoes, just footprints. The shoes that Max went straight into the pond. He literally dove into it.
So if you've got the canines taking the handler somewhere, what exactly does that mean? It brings me to our next question in this investigation, which is, did Sebastian walk away?
In my opinion, no, he didn't. He did not walk away, in my opinion. And what I think, in my opinion, what the police should be doing is asking KK, how the hell did he get out of there? How the hell did he get out of there? Because there is not a scent. There is nothing to suggest that he walked out the door. So how did he get out of there? We have something coming from a common area at 3 o'clock, and then 3 hours later, we have you leaving the house. Let's work it, girl. Come on. Tell us how he got out.
Did he walk away? Just leave home for whatever reason? To try to answer this question, let's bring in our experts, relationship trauma expert, psychotherapist, and CEO of Life Counseling Solutions. Dr. Janie Lacey is with me. Also joining me, former homicide detective and host of The Interview Room with Chris McDonough. Chris McDonough is with us as well. Great to see you both. Chris, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts about this recording and the thoughts of the canines and their handlers following some scent somewhere?
Well, first of all, Vinny, the recording in of itself, and I was a dog handler from 1986 to 1989. And when a dog is on a track like that, is he picking up the scent of the boy headed towards that pond? Is that a possibility? Absolutely. It could be a possibility. So the investigation then would have to shift into, the water resources in relationship to that pond to make sure they've checked that box.
Let me ask you, Dr. Janie Lacey, this is a 15-year-old child with autism. We're asking the question, did Sebastian walk away? How do you analyze that issue, knowing a little bit about Sebastian, not a whole lot, but we know he's a child with autism. He's able to do things. He goes to school. He's still a teenager, and he has those teenage issues as well. A little bit of friction at home with mom. What are your thoughts about the prospects and trying to figure out whether or not this child with autism at age 15 would simply walk away from home?
In the middle of the night, Vinny, in the middle of the night, without shoes, I think they didn't, in my opinion, want Sebastian to tell any longer.
Well, my thoughts, Vinny, would be we would want to collect as much past history as possible. So what was his normal habits? What were any circumstances where he would do things that would be out of his normal pattern? Who were the people who had the most access to him, and what would be some of their impressions, observations, if he tend to have normal habits, if he tend to have repetitive habits. So those would be some of the collection points that we would want to understand, the observations, what was his habits, what were the things that people reported that was any type of strange behavior, because we know that past behavior can predict future behavior. So we want to look at some of those kind of pieces to see if the possibility for him to just walk out of his home and to some of these areas would be likely based off of his past indications of behavior or past observations from those that had access to him.
All right, Chris, from your perspective, trying to put together.
See, Regina, I'm not I'm not worried about Tony either, but I'm not worried about personally law enforcement setting Seth up. I don't think it's as easy as thank you, Sammy's girl. I don't think it's as easy as it sounds.
Other pieces and trying to figure out, did he or did he not just simply walk away from his home? What are some of the things that you're looking for, and what are
to see about Chris's comment?
Some of the things that have been revealed that would be significant in trying to answer that question?
Hey, Faye.
Well, the first thing, Vinny, is whenever a child goes missing, you have about 3 hours from a law enforcement perspective to react. And that means, shut the scene down, shut the house down, because, statistically.
Yes. Can we get a applause for Chris on that, y'all? Shut it down. Get people out of that house. Get the people out of the damn house. Nobody needs to be in that house where someone could have came in, came up, or walked out. That is exactly right. Thank you for saying that, Chris. This, in my opinion, is why one of the biggest reasons why Summer Wells wasn't found, why Sebastian hasn't been found. There was not, neighbors were like, if there was tape up, it wasn't that dang long, I can tell you that. Like, it was just everybody in, everybody out. Come on in, don't take your shoes off. Come on in. Yeah, we want you to come in. Having 77,000 people going. There needs to be a two-prong investigation. I'll listen to you about what you said happened to your son, but until then, you're out of the house. And let me tell you something, innocent parents aren't going to care. They're not going to care. Do what you need to do. Let me help you. What do you need from me? Let me help you. Let's get this on the road. This is just Elizabeth Smart's dad. What do you need from me? Let's get the show on the road so you guys can clear me and we can get on with this. No, it's ridiculous.
Particularly across this country, there's what they call the victim risk continuum. And the lower the risk, the higher the probability that there was, some type of cross germination to either a suspect and or, a risk activity that put the child in jeopardy. Let's use Elizabeth Smart for an example. She's sleeping in her room.
Yes, listen to this.
All of a sudden, she disappears out of her house. But her sister remembered that it could have been the handyman. This was months later. So that showed that the investigation stayed at the home. In this particular case, you have mom who says, I saw him go to bed. I heard a thump. I went to bed. I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He's gone. Well, children just don't vanish. So what are the probabilities, based on what the doc just said, that could be reality? So as an investigation, you want to start in the house. You want to start with everybody in the house, everybody related to the house, and then search the neighborhood. And you'll be surprised with today's technology how the circle gets smaller, smaller, and smaller. So those are a couple of things that I think this investigation started, and it looks like they did a pretty good job based on the filming that I've seen.
Right. We got to think about this. Sebastian lived a small, relatively small life, right? The only places the child went was by himself at any time, right? Was school. He wasn't out there driving all the time, meeting people all the time. He was at home and he was at school. And if he wasn't at school and if he wasn't at home, he was with his mother or his father. So his risk continuum is very, 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 very low. Why would Sebastian want to leave? Well, it is true that, people with autism do tend to walk off. That is true. But they either do or they don't. And he is not one. He's not a runner. He's not one that runs off. Hey, Mohawk. So, and if kids generally get mad, pack their bags, say, I'm out of here, right? Where do they go? They usually don't get out of the yard, number one, right? Or they'll go and they realize, oh shit, this isn't what I thought it would be, right? Now, this is a kid that in the middle of the night, when he had a fantastic weekend, according to his mother, said it would have been, we hadn't been fighting. So, what would make him do this? Mom, stepdad said, well, if he wanted to go to his dad's at any time, there's never been a time where we said no. So it wouldn't be nothing like that. Sebastian getting ready to move in with his dad. There's no need. There is no reason for Sebastian to leave. And I'm sure that if a child was going to leave in the middle of the night, missed you too, dear, that he would have been packing a bag. And I can tell you, the moment he walked outside barefooted, what would he have done? Oh, shit. This is cold. I'm going to get my shoes. Tell you that. Why would a child walk in the cold? I don't care if it was 20 degrees. I don't care if it was 55 degrees. That is cold on your feet. 55 degrees is cold on your feet. Especially when it's wintertime. The ground is cold at that time. I don't know. Some people say it was cold. Some people say it was hot. Between, Antarctica and the desert, somewhere between there. What's the first thing you do? Think logically, people. Think logically. What's the first thing you do when you walk outside and forget your coat? Woo! I need to turn around and get my coat. Hell no. What would make a child go without shoes? Do they want to punish themselves even more and make themselves more uncomfortable? Would you want to do that? Logic, people. Logic. Use your brains. Would you, at any point in time, ever think you're gonna, step on rocks and your feet's going to be raw really quickly because he's not used to going without shoes or anything. He doesn't like the outside. Yes, Jody, they did. Because what they say is, well, Sebastian couldn't have went out that door. Sebastian wouldn't have went out that door. It's impossible for him to go out this door. If he had went out this door, he'd have been seen. That is all true. What they're saying there, that's absolutely true. So tell us, how the hell did he get out? I mean, what does people think he's going to do? Just run out between 12 and 6 a.m. It's cold, it's wet, and not take anything for comfort for him. He's autistic. People they like their personal something generally that makes it, well, we all do. It's something, a stuffed animal that he might like, something. Microdot, we just know Katie left at around 6:03.
Now, Sebastian's dad joined the Pascal show on YouTube and discussed what law enforcement's dog handlers told him about the search for Sebastian.
One dog followed a scent out into a construction site and then it disappeared. Could you maybe expand on that or explain a little bit more about that?
One of the dog handlers told me first day,
wow,
Monday, that the dog popped to a trail and they followed it and went all the way around and it ended in a construction site, but it ended. It's like there was nothing there.
Right. And that's a little odd.
Which
right?
Leads me to believe that, well, if it ends, normally the scent ends when you stop traveling on foot. From my understanding, that would mean that he got into a car.
Okay, let's follow up on that, Dr. Janie Lacey. If he ends up in a car, to me that means he would have been lured out of that house in the middle of the night. What are your thoughts about the prospects of that? Someone like Sebastian, right? He has some special needs.
Yes, there is no scent of Sebastian. There is no scent to Sebastian. There is none.
He's a child with autism. Being lured by someone, perhaps someone from online, and bypassing, not telling his mother, not telling his father, and being able to walk out of that house. What do you think it would take to lure Sebastian out of that home?
Well, we would want to consider his normal patterns of behavior, including who he had normal conversations with. Was he playing online, on games and speaking with people he became familiar with? So we would want to look at that.
I believe if he was speaking to someone online, they would have a very good record of it. I believe it would have been solved in 3 days.
Familiar patterns for him. And if potentially, as we know, a lot of teenagers do play games online and have online friends. So we would want to investigate and look at who was he regularly talking to or who he encountered, because based off of that information, if he potentially was lured and he got into a vehicle, we would probably want to make some assumptions that there probably was some familiarity, and unless there's some evidence of struggle, which it doesn't sound like there is. So I would be looking at his attachments or his familiar patterns when it comes to people he was commonly communicating with, playing games with, or just potentially who he would consider friends. And a lot of teens consider people they meet online as friends. So that would be a path that we would want to follow.
I want to take a listen to what his dad told me on a previous program about Sebastian just walking out of the house.
It doesn't seem like my son at all. He would never leave my house in the middle of the night barefoot. And if he did, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. We've left in the middle of the night. There's been times that we've gone fishing in the middle of the night. We plan that sort of stuff. But him walking out the door in the middle of the night, no. It's not something he would do. It's something he's never done on me.
Chris, for him to walk out in the middle of the night, I think it would take him to be lured by someone. And if that's the case, there would seemingly be some digital trail and perhaps a physical trail of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry about that. My StreamYard just crashed.
We have a child on the spectrum scale. He's on medication. So, if he's lured out of that house, then, the suspect is taking a risk, number one, within a very short period of time. If the victim starts to have withdrawals or anything on that medication, that's a huge problem to manage if you've just kidnapped this child. The second piece of this, to that digital footprint question, is if the authorities have looked at that digital footprint and said, okay, it just doesn't exist, then you have to go back to the house.
How about that? If there is no digital footprint, and Sebastian sounds like he did not have this huge digital footprint, he may have used Seth's account whenever he was at Seth's home, but he didn't. It's not like he had multiple profiles. It's not like he had, the social footprint that I have as a creator, or you guys, having Facebook, TikTok, all of this. And if that doesn't exist, which that it's, in my opinion, highly unlikely. In my opinion, they would have found someone that he was speaking to very quickly. Very, very quickly. That's like the easiest. So, and he said, you have to go back to the house.
And you have to start looking at all of what we call the victimology of each and every individual that is in that home or had access to that home.
I mean, guys, this is spelled out, for God's sakes. I mean, why the hell would this stepdad, right? Why no 911 call, right? Why and he was already, why all of this when they're telling, in my opinion, on themselves, we would have heard him? Why is the stepfather less than 48 hours after Sebastian going missing? Would he be going back to get a camper, a stupid camper that he pays a month, 3 months in advance? Oh, thank you, my dear. You're very sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's very sweet of you. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, my dear. Really do appreciate that. It's very sweet, Anne. You know, I mean, think of this. Oh, well, Seth might have been gone 2 hours out his, work. Show it, please. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. I'll certainly look at it. Certainly look at it.
And then start dissecting this case from there.
All right, our guests are staying with us. When we come back, have to ask another question, and this is a tough one.
You know what? Chris says they all have Life 360. Come on. Let's do it. Let's listen. Let's clear them off, off of any suspicion. Let's do it. Let's get the show on the road. It's been 6 months. Let's get the show on the road. Chris, Katie, whoever, you don't want this cloud of suspicion. You have Life 360. Come on. Let's flip it and reverse it. Let's get the show on the road.
Sebastian ever be found?
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
One of the most successful true crime TV shows ever.
This is crazy.
Now has a new home.
I personally don't think there's a lot of, I think that if this case is solvable, in my opinion, 2 ways, possibly 3, but mainly 2 ways I think this will be solved. 1, if he is just randomly found. 2, if this will be a digital, everything will be digital. This will be a digital case that paints the story of what happened. Everything on this will be digital, in my opinion. Or if someone says
America's original true crime obsession, 48 Hours on Court TV. Coming up next on Court TV. Join Court TV's Vinnie Politan with the latest and breaking true crime stories.
Now, let's look at the other side of all of that.
Vinnie Politan Investigates. Weeknights, 9/8 Central. Only on Court TV.
I'm not part of the investigation, and they don't have to let me know anything, which they don't let me know anything. I'm in law enforcement myself, so I've got to trust the procedure. I got to trust that if everything is followed by the procedure and everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, that there will be a positive outcome and my son will be found. I don't understand. They haven't come up with anything. Why they're not asking for higher powers to help.
a level of frustration. I think
a lot of times when it comes to these cases, I think there's a lot of pride and ego involved. And I think a lot of times, as hard as the locals are looking and what they have asked the other TBI, FBI, Secret Service, what they have asked them for, they may have maybe they just don't know how to put it together. I don't know. I was watching this case where they had the digital pings and stuff in front of them, had it on there for years, and they finally just said, I'm throwing my hands up in the air, gave it to another agency. The guys at the police department was reading the phone pings and all of that stuff wrong. They were reading it wrong. It's not about pride or ego. It's just about finding the answer. If you are at a dead end, there is nothing wrong with saying, this is what we've got. Here you go. If you can do something with it, more power to you. And then they would get just as much praise for handing that over. Just as much praise for handing that over and saying, we've worked it this far. Are we missing something? Are we overlooking something?
You heard it there from Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers. Communication with law enforcement, but law enforcement.
Well, that's a good question, AMC. What proof do we have that the door was noisy? It's her words. That is true. It is her words. However, that door, you have to have a key to lock it. Right? Yes, Heather. Yep. Yep. I've heard that.
In this case, where are they in the investigation? What evidence is there? I want to go back and take a listen to one of the original press conferences in this case, right after Sebastian went missing. And at these press conferences, a lot of times you'll hear different things. Sometimes they'll show you a photo of a car that they're looking for or something else. Listen closely to what they did say.
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
At this point, we don't have any evidence. There is not any kind of an indication that there is a criminal element involved. But we are keeping options open. We don't know what has happened. We don't know where Sebastian is right now. So we are pursuing any and all avenues.
Any and all avenues.
No evidence of foul play. Like, you could end the sentence, I think, a little quicker. Like, no evidence is what they're saying. A 15-year-old boy disappears. No evidence.
I don't
brings me to my final question. This is a tough one. Will Sebastian ever be found? If you've got no evidence, how do you find him? Let me bring back.
Okay. They say they have no evidence, right? They have no evidence. Then why, they didn't want that video out of the flashlights. And now we know there's a car, right? Why didn't they want that out? Why? There is too many checks here, in my opinion at least, that says something really stinks. Oops, there you go. Something stinks. Yes. Now, authorities can say whatever they want to say.
Back in my guests, still with us, Dr. Janie Lacey and Chris McDonough. Dr. Janie Lacey, I'm going to start with you first, which is the toll that this takes on a family, on a father, when you're not getting communication from the people who are in charge of finding your missing son.
Good, troopers.
And you hear the words, no evidence. How much more difficult does that make all of this?
That's exactly right, Tom.
Well, there's no doubt that
there is a procedure. Law enforcement has a following in missing children's cases. Sumner County didn't do that. They took the words of the parents, just like the Wells case. Candace wouldn't talk to law enforcement. Well, they said, notice how she said they were cooperating. How did she say it in the beginning of the investigation? They said that the Wells were cooperating too. About, I don't know, a year or two later, they said the Wells were indeed not cooperating. In Summer Wells' case, the parents. They say what they need to say.
Dad has lots of frustration. There's probably a lot of unanswered questions, and just the unknown factor can continue to stress out someone's body, his body, where he's probably up at night, ruminating, constantly thinking back his last conversations and just replaying everything, the anxiety, right, the fear. But what I also heard in his interview with you is his hope. And him staying focused and him not giving up and him continuing to use his own resources and hiring a private investigator, those types of things, as long as he's staying focused on his hope and knowing that his son is out there, that alone is going to keep his drive there. But we know that the support that he needs, the resources that he needs, and to continue to keep this story and his son front and center can provide some hope and some relief as far as that he's not alone in this journey to find his precious Sebastian.
Chris McDonough, you have so much experience in this area. Give us the honest answer right now on where you are based upon what we know and what we've heard in this case. Will Sebastian ever be found?
You know, Vinny, I have hope like you and everyone else that's a possibility. Statistically, 6 months into this, unless he did walk out that door on his own accord, that possibility, gets lower and lower. One of the things I would love.
There is no reason why by hunting season, all the leaves have fallen, right? You can see through the woods so good with the helicopters and stuff, just like when he went missing. There's no reason why he should not have been found. You're talking about this 15-year-old boy who doesn't like the woods, and I damn sure bet, in my opinion, that he would never walk in the woods because he didn't like the dark. He didn't like the dark. So why would he go to the woods? Why would he be stepping on briars, brush? Even EquiSearch said it was so thick that they couldn't even hardly get through some areas. If he is there in that vicinity, and I assure you, that he is, in my opinion, not going to walk out of a 5-mile radius. There's no reason why he should not be found. There's none. I'm telling you guys, that technology can see a field mouse in the woods. It is that good. There's no reason. If he is out there, like they say, like Chris just said, and he did this on his own accord, there is no reason why he shouldn't be found. Now, if he has been taken and hidden, that's a different story. That's a different story. The technology, guys, would blow your mind. I'll do it. I need to do a live on that just to show you some of the technology that is out there that these individuals, law enforcement, has. You can see a field mouse. No, I have no problem. I have no problem. You don't have to see it the way I see it, but tell me. Hold on one second. You tell me. Please do not block this person. I want you to tell me how if a child walks out of an area barefooted and doesn't have a scent, let me know how that happens too. Nothing, no eyes to suggest that, or camera, and let me know how he's going to walk out. Please, if you have the answer, if you have a better logical answer, I want to hear it. I really do. So please, we can all agree to disagree. I'm willing to listen. I am open to anything. I'm open to anything. But a conspiracy is not going to work for me. Because we're all human beings. Sebastian's a human being. Seth's a human being. Chris and Katie are a human being. And we all generally do the easiest, most logical scenario. It's human behavior. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you to tell me. Because I would love to hear it. I would love to hear it. Now, if you're just wanting to say, some, slight-handed comment, that would be different. But please tell me. It's not my first rodeo. It doesn't matter if it could be, just a person that thinks differently than me, but that's fine. I'm just waiting for them to tell me. Do not hide them. It's easy to, sit and say, you don't like the way people think of you, or think if you don't think the way you think. No. You guys, pop my mind open all the time. I agree. And I will tell you, I will believe someone like Chris McDonough way more than I would ever believe some person that doesn't even have a picture. Like, that's just, I've never seen before. I mean, if you, okay, based upon what? Based upon what? I mean, I personally believe 100%, in my opinion, he made it home. I absolutely do. I think that there would be no need for someone to be walking in the yards at 3 a.m. I don't think Katie had enough time for him to be seen getting in the car with Katie, and by the time she is seen right at leaving the steakhouse, getting to inside of her garage, I just don't think there's enough.
Love to see the investigation do is take that shift in relationship to father, the biological father, Seth. If he's at work, they have him on video, if his truck's on video, et cetera, and they can verify and know that's a possibility, then tell the public. Okay?
No, see, I would disagree with you. I would disagree with you on that. No evidence at home. I think there's more evidence at home than we have any evidence anywhere else. Anywhere else. Right? And that is, there is people, there is a car coming up at 3 o'clock in the morning from the common area. One, the person in the alleged vehicle allegedly goes toward the house, right? And then there is allegedly two people coming back. They are around the vehicle for a little bit, a minute or two, and then one person is seen running back in a fast pace. Now, I think that is the most circumstantial that could later, as in the sheriff says, be something later.
You have to tell the public what your steps are so that if you think of a gigantic puzzle of, let's say, the Statue of Liberty, and you're missing 5 or 6 pieces, the public will fill in that extra piece, okay? Because right now, the public doesn't know. When they hear we have no evidence, the public wants to help. And that's who the investigation.
Yeah, I ran back, drove. Not only that, you have this mother that says, oh, he walked off without his shoes, didn't take nothing. Oh, but he might have took a flashlight. To me, that, in my opinion, that was preemptive for if there is anyone out there that sees some sort of light in the backyard. Well, that might explain it. But then they're like, oh, no. No, that's not it. Now, let me tell you something. If you have a kid, God forbid, that goes missing, and you know that he might have taken a flashlight, and someone comes to you and says, oh my God, in the back part of your house area, I have some video with some flashlights or some sort of light coming from that area. you would be like, oh my God, that's something. But when you come to them with it and say, can you look at this? No. I can give you an official statement on it. Law enforcement, TBI, FBI, they have all said nothing to see here. Right? Guys, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't
Investigation
yet.
needs to focus on. Because again, if we go to just the fact this child needs medication, well, who's managing that medication on board? There's one other huge piece of evidence potentially why they may be keeping him in the circle. In the back neighborhood behind the house, there is, my understanding, a video of potentially a vehicle back there. And there may be, some connection to the house, to that vehicle. I don't know whose vehicle that is, but maybe the authorities are thinking, hey, did the father hire somebody, etc., to get the kid out of here because it's a custody problem? That's pure speculation at this.
When he says the father, I'm trying to get a comment from Chris about that. 1 second. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I am based upon I'm pretty sure Chris meant the stepfather. So I would bet 99% on that, and I'll let you guys know.
Point on my behalf.
I'll get an answer.
However, that would keep him in the circle and keep that minimal flow of information away from him if that was a possibility.
Now, at one point in the search for Sebastian, a volunteer group recovered glasses many believed to be his. That wasn't until law enforcement released a statement refuting that hopeful notion. And let me read it for you. Important announcement. Attention, everyone. We want to clarify that the eyeglasses recently found are not related to Sebastian Rogers. The search operation plan for today has been in the works for several days. We appreciate your cooperation and understanding, because that was a big part of this case and a big part of when you see Sebastian, you see the glasses, and glasses were found. And it raised a lot of hopes.
So I want to say that all local hunters, please, they're free hunting Saturday in Tennessee. So hunters, please keep your eyes out. Serenity, the hate channels are running with that now. Oh, that Chris said that? Well, I'll get you an answer on that, because I can just about assure you that he did not mean the bio father. Chris, does people not use logic? I mean, I understand that he said the father, but what did Chris just say? Back to the house. Back to the house. Hold on.
At the time, but law enforcement did in fact go public with it. Dr. Janie Lacey, if Sebastian is out there somewhere, we only have about 30 seconds here, but what do you think is going through his mind if he's being held somewhere?
Especially if he's not having his resources as medication, there's probably confusion, right? There's probably a deterioration in his physical symptoms because of the stress level. So there's probably just a lot of confusion if he is out there and he's being held and not knowing what's going on and not familiar with his surroundings or the people who he's there. He'd be scared, he'll be fearful. Yeah.
Well, Dr. Janie Lacey and Chris McDonough, I want to thank you both.
I don't want to speak for Chris but I will try to get clarification on that because I can just about bet you, just about that when he says the father, he meant the stepfather. So now let's go back. Because I was gone whenever this came out. I went over it.
Lost West Virginia Medicaid? Healthcare.gov is here for you.
Give me 1 second. Hold on. There we go. Jesus, I need to sign in 1 second. Give me 1 second, people. Damn it. And this will pretty much, in my opinion, let you know exactly where Chris is in this investigation. I missed you guys too. Thank you so much, Serenity, for that, by the way. No, I'm not rude to anybody. No. Has anyone said Uncle Taco and Seth really favor? I don't know. I mean, I don't, the conspiracies are just that. They're conspiracies. It means nothing. You're fine. I just want to, there's no need to be sorry. I just want to tell you that, I'm open to absolutely everybody. I mean, I have driven, I have to drive a lot for my work, and I have driven and just sit and thought and drove and thought about this case so much. And sometimes some things you guys say sparks something. Now, I personally believe that CP was there during that weekend. I think that is, in my opinion, the reason why CP will say I can't tell you the days I was there, just the way he did on, hey Maurice, good to see you, hey Spirit Seeker, all of that pertaining to sorry, I've got a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm trying to find something that okay. So I think that there was something crossed over with either CP wasn't supposed to be there because of CPS reasons. Why won't you say that you've been to your house? The house you paid for. And then you later say Sebastian thought he was going to get me kicked out of my house. I think Katie was, for whatever reason, keeping Sebastian busy that weekend for a reason. Maybe it was to keep CP. Maybe he was doing something around the house. Maybe he was at a family member's house, a friend's house. I don't know. But I think that night something happened. Whether it was CP and KP getting in an argument, Sebastian walks out, there's someone snaps, there's an altercation, or Sebastian says to CP something to the effect of, "You're not supposed to be in this house. I'm going to tell tomorrow when I go to school." Because remember, these people with autism, they don't have filters. They're incapable. And it was, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be here. And I think CP may have started on his room or started or whatever, possibly. And it was, you're not even supposed to be here anyway. Sebastian could have had the upper hand in that. And that made someone snap.
He was on medicine, supposed to be on medicine. And it's, I think we're going on 6 months now of him missing. And there's just been some behavior, or I wouldn't even say just behavior, but there's a cloud of suspicion around the case. There's been no sign of him whatsoever. None. Not a video, not a sighting, nothing. And which is,
Right. Well, Sherlock Holmes famously said, "When you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth."
Sure.
What? Let's listen to that again.
And I mean,
the impossible, whatever. Well, Sherlock Holmes famously said, "When you've eliminated the impossible."
When you have eliminated the impossible,
whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth.
Whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. Right? Nothing of this child leaving. Nothing, nothing, nothing. There is activity at 3 and 6, though. There's that. There's activity at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. that we know of. And I would say there's activity around 9 p.m. perhaps as well. 9, 10 p.m. in my opinion. That's just my opinion, as well. It is what it is, folks.
Sure. And I mean,
you can't find any proof that somebody left their house. What does that leave?
That somebody left with them.
They never left the house.
Right, right.
You have to look inside the house, right?
Think about that. If he never left the house, you have to look inside the house. Now, that is true. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely logic. Now, you think police are thinking something different than that? Katie says Sebastian left that house. He walked out the door. I don't know why he walked out the door, but he walked out the door. How do you know he walked out the door? He's not there, but that doesn't mean he walked out the door. The only thing we have evidence of is that a child is missing, is that there is a disappearance. That is the only evidence that we have. We don't have evidence that he was abducted, other than there is a car at 3 a.m. Now, to me, that wouldn't say that there is an abduction, because that person, the person came up, got out of the car, went toward the common area, came back with another person, and then another person goes running back toward the common area. So that wouldn't be an abduction, in my opinion. Justin, can you play the first interview? When she says he went out the door. I have to see her face and what she does. The door could be a bedroom door. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I believe Okay, I'll get to that in a second. So there's nothing to suggest he left the house. If they say he left the house, but there's no evidence that he left the house, again, no scent, no footprints, nothing on camera, no articles of clothing, nothing. No glasses, right? First of all, him just leaving on his own is when he's scared of the dark and he's all of this, and he's never done that before, that dips the likelihood that he would do something on his own accord anyways, right? So if they say he walked out the door, but there's no evidence of that, then whatever happened in the theory remains still inside that house. Well, who was inside that house? Who was in that house? Well, we just know for sure that there was two people, one other than Sebastian. One other than Sebastian, and that is his mother. Now, her story doesn't make sense. Why would your story not make sense? If it's true, it makes sense. Right? It doesn't make sense that you're going to speak to your husband for 2+ hours so late into the evening when you had all weekend, both of you, to speak all weekend. I bet you they didn't talk for 2 hours this late prior to that. Betcha, in my opinion. And it doesn't make sense that you're sleeping, you're reading a chapter, or you're studying or whatever, and you're also, what was the other thing? Talking on the phone. She says she was studying. I was like, maybe she was doing a sleep study. As a joke. So that doesn't make sense either. It doesn't make sense that a mother hearing a thud, especially just her and her child being there alone. Being there alone. wouldn't go check on your son? You hear something in your house? When you hear something in your house, if you hear a thud, you're not going to check. Katie doesn't really mention any time during that day. She only mentions times starting at 9 o'clock. Why? Tell me why. Why is that the moment she starts entering times? From the time she gets up in the morning until midnight, the only time she starts talking about times is 9 p.m. Why? It's bizarre, strange, doesn't smell right. And if it doesn't smell right, something is wrong.
I mean, Chris, what you say from an investigative perspective, no trace whatsoever of leaving the house would lead you, obviously, to have to look in it. And Chris is nodding, I think.
100%.
Yeah, and the audience that can't tell, but I think there's a couple of things I think, as somebody that I think is going to take more of a, I want to take kind of a listening role in this case. I'm very interested, and I love your thoughts when you two talk about this case. But I will say two things. One is I have extensively worked.
I hear something in my house. I look like the Karate Man. I know I'm not very butch, but my 38 is. I go to the house, I'm like, I hear something. So, yeah. We woke up, had breakfast, made spaghetti pancakes. Look them up, y'all. Look them up, y'all. Does that sound like a mother talking about her kid? Can you imagine? Just imagine. Can you imagine Elizabeth Smart's mom saying, "Yeah, before Elizabeth went to bed, I made crab cakes for supper. Look them up, y'all. Then we went to bed." Can you imagine? No. That's a mother generally does not give a wooden nickel about anything other than finding her kid. She doesn't give a wooden nickel about the recipe that you should have. Cricket, they are like it's basically like funnel cakes. I never heard of them either until
worked with people on the spectrum in my career, and there are, depending upon how severe the person is in terms of placement along that spectrum, there can be things like rigidity of behavior, where you don't really expect somebody to do things that are too out of pattern, right? Stereotyped interests, temper tantrums, and meltdowns that can be very difficult to manage. Sensory experiences like being highly sensitive to noises.
Come on, if we get to 1,000 likes, we have a chicken party. You don't want to miss the chicken party. It's quite fun around here. It's quite fun. Let's hit that thumbs
all
up.
kinds of things that can be very difficult from a parenting point of view, that can be very difficult in the home. And if you have somebody who was sort of recently diagnosed, you then start wondering about somebody who might have been beginning to escalate or showing signs more, because because autism is a developmental condition that would go back all the way to earlier in life, but it gets diagnosed now. That would imply something is intensifying or getting noticed for the first time when somebody's leaving the home and, you know, interacting with other children or things like that, and they start seeming odd, you know, as they're getting older, or something is making it obvious. So that's very important. I can't help but think that that change in status and how somebody might be interacting with the family could be something that, in some vague way I can't put my finger on, figures into this story somehow. And the second thing that I think is important to say is, I don't know what you guys are going to say. And Chris, I'm especially interested.
Yes, I said a chicken party. We have a mother clucking good time. See what I did there?
From a law enforcement perspective, but to me, it seems that you wind up with these kind of buckets in terms of possibilities here, and we have to weigh all of them agnostically, right? But the buckets seem to be like a lot of autistic children who go missing. He wandered out, right? And then you usually find the child very quickly. Josh, you and I have talked about cases like this where an
I
autistic
don't
child
know.
wanders off and then they're found, you know, they've fallen into the water.
I don't know if she was there that night, but I knew she was in the area
Or
that
they've gotten
weekend.
lost in the forest.
Yep.
They're cold. They're hungry. Something happens to them. An animal gets to them. Whatever, some horrible thing. There are also cases, I think, in bucket 2,
Yep.
where there's either an abduction from the home, but usually for sexual purposes, unfortunately, or the child has wandered out and then been taken by
Listen to
an
this.
offender who opportunistically does so. And the third possibility, which the Sherlockian dictum points us to, is that there's some internal thing with a potentially, I mean, you know, and we can't really cast aspersions here, but I guess that if it was something internal, then we would.
There's only 3 really possibilities, right? 1, he actually walked out. Do I agree with the donos for mutts? I think it's a great thing that if, I think online you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, to be quite honest with you. If, he would have taken the money and bought signs, you're damned. If he, gives it to something that, Sebastian would have liked, you're damned by some. I think just people have their own opinions on it, and anyone can have their own opinion on it. It's not up to me. It's not up to me. If people, want to have a problem with it, they can have a problem with it. It's not going to change what's done, the Mutt's license expired in June. Every June is when you supposedly redo them or whatever, but if their business is still there, then it's still there. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it, but anyway, there's 3 things that can happen, right? 1, he walked out by himself on his own accord. We have no evidence of that. 2, he was lured out by a third party, of some random person, and there's no evidence of that. Or 3, someone inside of the house did something. That's the 3 options. Now, because that vehicle comes on their road, parks in the common area, goes toward the common area, comes out with another person, can't see what they're doing around the car, but they're doing the car, the truck, the vehicle. I shouldn't say car, the vehicle of some sort. And then after that, one person goes running back in that direction. Now, that is where I have the problem, right? Is if it is related to Sebastian at any point, these people in the common area from the area of their backyard, the person running back suggests that someone in that house would have to know, right? If someone came to that house or pulled up there and one flashlight, jumped in the car, backed out, and never seen again, well, then I would suggest that someone, he was running away with someone. But the problem is this alleged driver and another person came back to the vehicle. And then you see the person going back toward the common area. That's the problem for me. What was it? Called Christie on the case. Okay. I'll look at it later. That is the problem for me. Otherwise, I would think, oh, well, Sebastian, yeah, so someone could have absolutely, he could have gotten the car with someone. Sure. But the problem is that person in the car went there, comes back with another person, does something, and then runs back toward the house. If it is related, and that is approximately 3 hours before a 911 call goes out that there is a 15-year-old missing boy, that says a lot to me. That says a lot to me. Nick Barris said in that video, before he's kind of taking back a lot of his words now, in my opinion, but he said, a source close to the investigation tells me that the mere fact that people, I'm using his words loosely because I don't know the quote, but the mere fact, or sources close to the investigation tell me that the mere fact that people are outside of Sebastian's home is alarming. Right? Now, again, there is nothing more in this world would be so helpful to all of us. CP says they have 360, and if they don't like the side, people's opinions based upon the things that they have said and told, then show us that 360 just so we can move on. Says his whole family has it.
Would have to suggest that maybe there was some cover story to conceal that. Is there anything other than those three possibilities that would be on the table here from those seem to be keys, right?
Yeah, no, and I think the most important piece to talk about is the fact that those possibilities that you've just kind of related.
That's exactly right.
With the exclusion of the house problem.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Mag. If you are stealing a child, you're not going to run back toward the home, right? That's the whole problem for me, is that they ran back toward the home. And then not only all of that happens, but then at 6 o'clock, you call your husband. All right, fine. Not a problem. I'll give you that. But you say you call the non-911 number. Well, that's where I have a problem. You don't, why would you call a non-911 number? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. You are supposedly 3.5 hours away, but this is really good right up here. Listen to this.
Majority of those children, if not all of them, at some point are found.
Yes, or very close to the home are found not well, not because they.
Well, that's the thing, unless they would have handed him off to relatives. So that would still implicate foul play of some sort, right? Not that he is missing. He's missing, but not as where someone doesn't know where he's at. So if they did hand him off, why wouldn't they have gotten a scent? You got to think about that too. Let's say they walked Sebastian to the car in the common area. Okay, why isn't there a scent? Yeah, well, Donna, yeah. Yes, first interview. He says that I've got the quote here. And it talks about Chris says the best part about it, or the best part is, I'll find it in a second. Just one second.
We can't get very far.
Right. And if it's a water situation, they're found in the water. If it's a walk away, they're typically found, within a geographic regional, environment. And I mean, I think the biggest elephant in the living room on this one is this young man was on medication. And the investigators have to take that into consideration. Or quite frankly, they're not doing what is common sense. I mean, if you look at the big picture here, to have such a high level of, experience.
Yeah.
When guys like us, that only work, hundreds and hundreds of dead people, and I have walked my Jack Russell though and talked to him while doing it. However, I always look forward to the expert opinion. That said, one of the things that I think is obvious here from an investigative analysis aspect is if the father, the stepdad, or the biological dad, let's take him into consideration here for a moment. If you look at the big picture of the victim risk continuum, which I was talking about, you look at environment, situation, circumstance, low, medium, high. Okay. This has all the indications of a very low risk situation.
Risk. Very, very low risk.
Evident of the fact that, 10 at night to 6 in the morning. And it reminds me of when I consulted on the Elizabeth Smart case.
Oh.
Where the investigators were focusing outside of the house on.
Thank you, Veda, for Thank you for your super sticker, my dear. Really do appreciate that, my love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate your support. Guys, if you are not a member yet, please consider becoming a member. I'll be doing a half an hour after show as well.
Ricky, and we kept telling him, no, you need to keep focusing inside the house. Somebody somewhere has crossed paths with that residence. And of course, later on, the young sister wakes up one day and she had an epiphany and says, oh, yeah, it was the handyman. Okay, that's who it was who came in. And lo and behold, Elizabeth is out there today, thank the Lord, talking about her experiences and talking about the handyman. And that guy, Gary. I mean, he was.
All right. This is the quote. This is the quote. I mean, it's so simple. It's probably a very boring case. If you took away all the crap, it's just simple. We have a 15-year-old autistic child that is missing. And unfortunately, the best part about it is that he managed to do it without any evidence left behind whatsoever. That is a quote from CP. Probably a very boring case. Who says that about their stepchild? I'll wait. Nobody. Nobody says that. That's why. Right? Nobody says that. Probably a very boring case. And the best part about it, that he has done this without leaving any sort of evidence. You think I'm sorry, guys, but you think a 15-year-old autistic child with a chromosome deletion is going to think about not leaving evidence? Well, if he was planning on to not leave evidence, I'm sure he wouldn't have went barefoot. Think about that as well.
Just
not. I have some of his writings here that about 9 or 10 pages of what was apparently.
That's right. Survey says.
I have here that I was using at the time we wrote the New Evil.
You're ratchet,
I never did anything with it, but pretty fascinating read.
Yeah, so
it's very bizarre.
Yeah. So if we take that as just kind of a layover into the Sebastian Rogers case, what are the odds of somebody coming into the house, stealth, somehow not leaving any form of evidence in any way, shape, or form that we're aware of anyway in the public arena, and coming in and saying, hey, you're coming with me, kid, get him out of the house. And he's been wandering around the United States, with this coven of some sort. We know that Elizabeth was taken, obviously for sexual assault reasons, and that was his primary motivation. And so what would be the first question, just taking into account not only the victim risk continuum, but what's the motivation here? What's the motivation of a stranger abduction coming in and taking a 15-year-old autistic young man out of his house, number one?
Or off the street if he's seen wandering shoeless,
Right, we got to get him out of the house, right? We got to get him out of the house first.
Right. What would be the motive? Well, based on statistics, Chris and you and I both know from our respective fields that the number one best bet would be for sexual purposes.
Okay, so
And to be honest with you, I don't think it's for the sexual purposes in this case. I just got a new sound. Survey says you like that one when it's a right answer? Right? Hold on. Where is it at again? Survey says there we go. Thank you for that.
I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. So now we have to ask ourselves, okay, well, what are the circumstances in relationship to who's awake,
This
who's
is so
hearing,
important.
who's hearing what? And you have mom saying, well, I heard a thud. Okay. Well, what does that mean? How do we make sense of that when a parent who's looking, to say that their child evaporated from their house, and in the middle of the conversation, she says, oh yeah, around this time I heard a thump or whatever it was. Josh, how did she describe it?
His mother referred to the noise as a thud.
So what does that mean? As a just being open-minded here, I guess we can all interpret that as being 100 different things.
Yeah.
Okay? But we also can interpret that into one thing, and that one thing is dangerous, or something happened where the mother describes it to the world. Something happened, a thud. Okay.
Yes.
What they don't have evidence of,
that's true,
is what that what that thud meant. Was it criminal in nature? Was it?
You are very correct, as CP would say, very correct. I saw more fear on her face than worry. Early on, they wouldn't know if law enforcement would buy their stories. So naturally, she's going to be scared of getting arrested if they found something that can prove it. Survey says, I agree. Yep. 16 thumbs up till we get a chicken party. You don't want to miss it. Come on, guys. Hit the thumbs up. Become a member of the Pearl team. You want to clutch the pearls and be a member.
Did he fall off a bed? I mean, we could go down a whole list of 100 different categories.
Did he fall? Remember that? Do you guys remember that? That she said to even look behind his bed? Even behind his bed? 11 more till a chicken party. It's a mother clucking good time. Roxy would appreciate it. Could do a chicken party. Single mom. Oh my God. Single mom to the office, please. You're being paid. Single mom to the office, please. You're being paid. We need a late slip for single mom WTF true crime. There we go. We hit 1,000. All right. Let's have our chicken party.
Katie! Christopher! Katie! Christopher! Katie! Oh, Katie! 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 Oh, Katie! 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 Oh, Katie! Katie! Christopher! Oh, great! One trip,
her.
I'll need a snack. A pet cat. A pet cat. A pet cat. A pet cat. Give me sugar, water.
Sugar water.
More, more, more. More, more.
Oh, your skin is hanging off your bones.
Oh, yeah.
They're delicious.
Thank you, my child. I made them by hand.
Okay.
Taters are just about done. I'm just gonna give them one quick whip.
Hold on, someone's calling. Kathy, you are live on the air.
Justin, I wanted you to check out Shay on her channel right now. What's going on?
Okay, what is going on?
They're talking to somebody named Tiffany's talking to real Andy B. But they've been talking
Oh.
about they took Summer to Knoxville.
Yeah.
And him and Don. I don't know how real it is, but I'm very upset with it. I just thought you might want to know to check that out.
Okay. All right. Thank you, my dear.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Don't believe it. Thought you were gonna show when he pulls his face back. Yeah, I need to do that. We earned a chicken party. Oh, fearless leader. With a girlfriend. Sebastian could not have walked out. Yeah, he couldn't have walked out, in my opinion. We got a member this evening. Thank you, Emily. Thank you so very much for becoming a member. You are a strand of our new pearls. Our new pearls. Yeah, Katie, the security installer, right? The security installer. Because I was in the can. Well, you can rewind. You can rewind. There's that. Survey says you can rewind. Yay. Now listen to this right here. This is very
Of where
important.
that word would fit into. But
Oh, thank you, single mom. Thank you so very much, my dear. Love the chicken party. Sorry I was late. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's all right. Oh, we got another member, Blue Angel. Thank you, my dear. Thank you so very much. You can enjoy our after party. All right, let's roll.
it's a descriptive word of an activity.
Pluck, pluck, mother chicken.
And that is problematic in a criminal investigation.
Well, here's another thing though that's problematic about the thud, Chris, is that in her first interview with the news, I believe it was the local KTF 5 or something like that. What she said was that when she heard the thud, she didn't get up and go check on him. She just said to go or knock off whatever he was doing, go to sleep. And then I think
they
in
didn't say yet.
future, I don't think I actually know. I just don't know exactly which one. That after there was an immense amount of criticism.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you get up when you heard a thud? You know, you have a child with special needs.
Exactly, Josh.
She then changed it to that she did check on him. But the initial story is that she only said, knock it off, go to sleep.
Well, oh, thank you, Always Late, for 5 continuous months. Snack for everyone.
Snacks because, you know, he's 15 and snacks. Snacks because, you know, he's 15 and snacks. Snacks because, you know, he's 15 and snacks.
Snacks for everyone. Thank you so much, Always Late. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate your continued support, my dear. Give you my little channel here. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you so much for becoming a girl. We will clutch you all and keep you close. You should be. Yeah, Thomas, I probably could at any time, but I don't have time to do what I do already.
So if she said then she checked on him, what did she say?
Yeah. I don't care what you're doing in there. I don't care what you're doing in there, comma, knock it off and go to sleep. That doesn't make sense. Right? That doesn't make sense. I don't care what you're doing in there, but knock it off and go to sleep. Okay, then you do care what he's doing. You do care. You want him to go to sleep. And that's all we hear about this evening, about that evening, right? She's laying on the couch, lounging, doing, speaking on the phone, dozing off, talking on a 2-hour conversation, studying for her college or whatever. But he goes to sleep at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, which is ridiculous for a 15-year-old. Number one, what 15-year-old goes to bed normally at that hour anyways? Maybe if you are in 2nd grade, right? 3rd grade, maybe. But a 15-year-old who allegedly, has trouble sleeping anyways. But she says she let him stay up a little bit later. Well, when was this? Did you have this conversation about him staying up later? If so, you never spoke on that? Right? You've never spoke on you let him stay up later. Did you actually see Sebastian? Didn't she say he poked his head out of the door at one interview? He poked his head out of the door and said, "Good night, Mom. Good night, puppies. Love you," or something like that. See, none of this makes actual sense. None of it makes sense. It should be, as what CP says, crystal clear.
Something that I believe we're privy to. Something that I believe we're privy to. Something that I believe we're privy to.
Wow. Okay. I mean, yeah. Even a fly, and he's like, oh! Okay. I mean, yeah. Even a fly, and he's like, oh!
Does that sound like a first interview on the news that you would see a mother? And I was thinking that as well, Mohawk. You couldn't see, but I was just trying to see what she'd say on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, she never specified. She never specified.
That's a red flag.
I would imagine
It-
so.
You see, I mean, if somebody says, "Yeah, I heard a gunshot," and I went to check on it, then the next question from an investigator is, and this is what we're not hearing. Well,
Yes.
what did you see? Well, blah, blah, blah. Now you just kind of overlay that into, well, I heard a thud. Okay. All right. What did you do?
Hold on. Was there someone's birthday I was supposed to sing to the other day? I just realized that. Brenda Bolton. I just woke up. I'm like, Brenda to the office, please. Brenda to the office. We need Brenda to the office. Brenda, you're late. You're late. Why are you late? You just woke up. Survey says you're late. You're late to the office. Thank you. Yes, thank you for writing that up. Appreciate that, Lindsay. Thank you so very much.
Well, I went and took a look. All right. What did you see? And there's a narrative behind that somewhere. And that narrative, we don't know what that is, but at some point,
Walk a little
somebody,
faster. Come on.
sounds like her, changed her story.
That's right, Aries.
All right. No problem. Summer, are you down there? Okay. I went down there. Okay. Well, I don't remember if the door was open or locked. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like you said there too, another thing is that when she first found out that he was missing, another red flag would be that she called the stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, who was allegedly 3.5 hours away at work in Memphis on a job site. And nobody knows if that's verified or not. But look.
Yeah, but if you have a Life 360, you should be able to verify that in like 2 seconds, right? Right? Oh my God, we got another member. Yay, we got another member. Where's Lady Tuna Billy? Oh, I like this. I like your name. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the Pearls. Really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Welcome aboard. We will always keep you close in our clutches. Thank you, my dear. Really do appreciate it.
Let's just take him at his word, say that, okay. But nobody ever.
Well, that is what we quoted with, or the other day with Chris, whenever he says that he says they all have Life 360, which is interesting. Another thing he says in that interview is, if, let me see if he says, I kid you not. Yeah, when Sebastian's love for cats is so strong that still to this day, when me and his mom started dating, they had cats, and I'm allergic to cats. So mom made the choice to get rid of the cats so we could keep our life moving forward together. And still to this day, Sebastian would not let me live it down that, they got rid of the cats. To me, that shows you that she will do a lot for her honey, you know, her man. She'll do a lot for him, right? She got rid of, at that point, let's see here, how Sebastian couldn't have been, what, 8 at that time? 7 or 8? Think about that. Seven or 8 at the time, because they were together how old? She was told to stop smoking too. I'm trying to quit vaping. Oh. She had to stop smoking to give up the cats before he would move in. That is exactly right, Promise. That tells you it really traumatized him. Trauma from the beginning. That is the only reason Seth had to give his dogs away. His dogs away.
Never called 911. They circumvented 911.
Listen, and yeah, I know what you're doing, Lisa. I see what you're doing. You're doing the math, right? How long has Chris and Katie said they've been together? A while, right? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there about CP and his alleged infidelity. There's a lot. And in my opinion, wink, nod, that is a lot of the reason why CP went back to Tennessee from California. Wink, wink. Roaming.
Somehow, and decided to call the local sheriff's department. And, you know, Candace as well wasn't the one to call 911. It was Dawn from a different somewhere. He was in Sullivan County or something like that. And it was but there's never just like in a lot of these stories, like you said, the door was open or wasn't open, there was a thud, there wasn't a thud. Nothing's ever straightforward. You know, there's never any like yeah, I called 911 immediately. The father, Seth Rogers, wasn't even notified by the mother. She didn't call the father who they split custody with. She didn't call the father to say, have you seen Sebastian anywhere?
Now, based upon, and also I don't know the answer about, you know, what Chris said in that interview yet. I don't think. Let me check my phone. Okay. I mean, look here, they're talking about how, you know, Chris and them didn't even get in
That's not what
touch.
happened.
I mean, I can't imagine not calling his work. He had Seth's, they both had Seth's emergency number to get a hold of him at work.
Which to me is a red flag as well. But I don't want to get too far ahead. But
Yeah.
No, those are solid points. And so she calls. Who do they call? What time is the sheriff's department notified?
I believe it was around 6:30 in the morning.
Okay, so 30 minutes.
Something
hypothetically,
Yeah.
if the report is, I went in and I looked for him, he wasn't there at 6 a.m. Around 6:30. When does she call Chris?
She says after a few minutes of searching the house, then she calls Chris, who then I believe Chris is the one that calls law enforcement, but it wasn't 911. And a lot of people
He calls the non-emergency line.
called the non-emergency line,
which is recorded, by the way. So hopefully he knows that.
Who knows what he knows, but
it's recorded.
yeah, no, I would agree. But yeah, you would think that would be a 911.
It's recorded.
Phone call.
Well, yeah. Well, or if you're trying to avoid the recorded line, maybe you're thinking, if you're not the sharpest tool in the shed, I'll just call the police department non-emergency line, and that's not recorded. Well, here's a zinger for everybody. Every line in every police department is recorded.
Right, Lexi?
Right. So whatever that conversation is, it's sitting there.
Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at.
He's going to walk through that door, and the street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug and love him. And
Stepdad Chris says it's been an emotional roller coaster.
That's very interesting, Mohawk. Message to Seth, 911, call me. Message to Nina, 911, call me. All from Chris. What is also interesting, maybe we should go over that Nina interview again, because I've only went over that maybe once. Because Nina says in that interview that he was really frustrated about his phone getting taken. How the hell was he speaking? Y'all want to go over that interview again? We can do that. I don't know, TC. It's amazing to me. Burner phone. Burner phone. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to go over the Nina thing maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow night. Because I forget a lot about that. I know these interviews, well, not this one off by heart, but the other ones I know by heart almost, but that one I really don't. Maybe we can understand a lot about how he operated the way he talked to Nina because it was so close by. All right. So we just got 1, 2 from Night Angel. So, all right. So the rest are 1s. Bobby Ray says no. All right. We'll do it tomorrow for sure. Maybe I haven't 1 if you want to go over it tomorrow, 2 if you don't. Nina was under the impression that they had cameras. Oh, Bridget. Did you not see the not only that, there was allegedly cameras in the kitchen. And allegedly, KK had to buy most of the groceries for her son. He called Nina on Wednesday after he left the house, and yeah, I want to know her words on that. I can't remember all of it. I was listening to the one of your podcast this morning from 3 to 4. Thank you, Carla. Good to see you. We'll do it tomorrow for sure. All right, guys. I'm going to end it here. I'm at 2 hours and 35 minutes. I will be back here in just a little bit. We will be doing an after time party. I need to go tinkles, and I'll be back for the after hour party. We'll do it for like 30 minutes or so. I have to go to bed earlier because I have to be up so early. So, but it'll be tomorrow evening. Probably 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock or so. 4 or 5 o'clock Eastern. No later than 6. It won't be any later than 6, I can tell you that. I'm going to try to do an earlier live as well. I need to do it. So I'll let y'all know. Oh, your son started kindergarten, Janelle. Oh, bless his heart. It was so hard on you. I know it was. It's so hard when they first go to kindergarten. Oh my God. No, peach cobbler. No, I'm not. No, I do a lot of volunteer work and stuff for my school, but no. Yeah, it'll be anywhere from 4 to 6 p.m. tomorrow. I'll try to schedule it later tonight, maybe at some point. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad. Survey says I will do the chicken.
Katie! Christopher! Katie! Christopher! Katie! Oh, Katie!
There we go. Thank you, guys. Love you all so much. Kindergarten, yeah, that's really hard. Mine are not near that small anymore, but it goes by quick. It really does. They're in kindergarten, then they're in middle, and then they're in high school. So there you go. All right, guys. Love you all. Appreciate you. Great show. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Love, love, loves. Bye-bye.